While you're carefully reading return policies, there are people requesting refunds for the most absurd things. 1. A family vacation turned into a customer service nightmare when beachgoers discovered something shocking about the ocean. It was salty. Not just a little salty, unbearably, undrinkably salty. The horrified vacationers marched straight to the resort manager, demanding an immediate refund. They insisted the resort should have advertised freshwater sections somewhere in the vast Atlantic. When told this was impossible, they refused to swim and spent their entire beach day writing angry online reviews instead. 2. The gleaming new sliding glass door at the department store was working perfectly. Too perfectly, actually. A shopper walked straight into it at full speed, then blamed the company for creating an invisible danger. She demanded her money back for the embarrassing collision. When staff offered to put a safety sticker on the door, she refused, calling it ugly. The woman threatened to sue for damaged dignity and promptly filed a formal complaint with the Better Business Bureau. 3. Customer service received a baffling complaint about a flashlight that only worked in the dark. The frustrated buyer couldn't understand why the beam wasn't visible during broad daylight. He claimed the company should make a special daylight version for people who needed to see the light during sunny hours. After demanding a full refund for this incomplete product, he suggested adding a day mode function to future models. Despite receiving a store coupon, he left scathing reviews online. 4. NASA received an unusual 3-page handwritten complaint about the moon being too bright at night. The Insomniac writer demanded the government install a dimmer switch to reduce lunar illumination. She blamed the moon entirely for her sleepless nights and wanted a refund for her ruined vacation. The detailed letter included diagrams showing optimal moon brightness levels. When NASA politely explained they don't control celestial bodies, she escalated her complaint to multiple government agencies, insisting this was a public health issue. 5. A gym member stormed to the front desk after one personal training session, demanding his money back. He was genuinely shocked that personal training involved actual exercise and physical exertion. The sore muscles were completely unexpected, and he wanted a no-sweat plan instead. He called the entire fitness industry false advertising for not warning him about muscle fatigue. When the staff explained that exercise naturally causes soreness, he threatened negative social media posts about their dangerous training methods. 6. A tourist visiting New Orleans ordered authentic gumbo, then immediately demanded a refund when it arrived with actual spice. She requested the chef prepare a completely flavorless version instead, claiming the meal tasted too much like the South. Her online review scolded the restaurant for making food that tasted like the region it came from. She blamed spicy Americans for ruining her dining experience and insisted her burning mouth deserved full financial compensation from the restaurant management. 7. The continental breakfast at a $1.80 per night hotel sparked outrage from a guest expecting fine dining. He couldn't believe the spread lacked steak and lobster, calling it a cheap European trick. The man argued that any hotel charging $80 deserved to serve gourmet meals at breakfast. He demanded an upgraded menu at no additional charge and threatened to report the substandard breakfast to his travel agent. When staff explained continental breakfast standards, he accused them of international conspiracy against American tourists. 8. This zoo visitor had it all figured out. Those zebras, totally fake. Just regular horses with some paint slapped on by sneaky staff members. The stripes were too perfect, too uniform. Real animals don't look like that, right? She demanded her ticket money back immediately. Then came the investigation request. She needed management to admit their horse painting scheme. Photos were taken as evidence of this elaborate zoo conspiracy. Children nearby watched in confusion as she ranted loudly about the obvious fraud happening right in front of everyone's eyes. 9. Everything seemed simple enough in Texas. Order an extra large pizza, take it home, pop it in the microwave. But this customer hit a snag when the pizza wouldn't fit through the microwave door. The solution? March back to the shop and demand they remake it microwave-sized. Cutting it into slices wasn't an option. That would ruin the whole experience somehow. The staff stared in disbelief as he explained his complaint wasn't complicated at all. Just make pizzas that fit standard kitchen appliances. Problem solved in his mind. 10. French fries should taste like Paris, obviously. This California diner had high expectations when she ordered them at a local restaurant, but these tasted like plain old potatoes. Nothing French about them. She sent them back, demanding authenticity she could actually taste on her tongue. Maybe throw in an Eiffel Tower souvenir to make the experience more realistic. The disappointment was crushing. Her refund request came with a lecture about cultural fairness. American restaurants shouldn't advertise French food unless they deliver the real Parisian experience, complete with atmosphere and proper flavor profiles. 11. Beach vacation should involve sand, but this resort guest missed that memo entirely. She arrived expecting something different and felt shocked by all the grains under her feet. Real beaches aren't supposed to be sandy, according to her travel research. The advertising was clearly misleading about what beaches actually contain. Money back seemed like the only fair solution. The lifeguard got an earful about false expectations and tourism fraud. Her online review warned other travelers about this sandy surprise. Future beachgoers needed to know what they were really getting into before booking their supposedly relaxing getaway. 12. Hotel Wi-Fi should be visible, right? This guest marched to the front desk asking how to see the internet connection. She expected visible signal lines or some kind of physical evidence that the service existed. Paying for invisible internet felt like getting tricked by sneaky hotel management. A partial refund made perfect sense for this mysterious situation. Then came the speed test with a ruler, measuring absolutely nothing but providing proof of the problem. The front desk staff exchanged confused glances while she explained her scientific approach to detecting wireless signals around the building. 13. Frozen yogurt that's actually frozen caught this shopper completely off guard. The cold temperature hurt her teeth and created an unpleasant eating experience overall. She wanted the room temperature version instead, something more manageable for sensitive mouths. The head office needed to hear about this dangerous product immediately. Frozen desserts shouldn't be so freezing cold, especially without proper warning labels. The teenage cashier received a severe scolding about misleading product names. If it's called yogurt, it should behave like regular yogurt from the refrigerator section, not this teeth-numbing frozen nightmare that required special eating techniques. 14. Rain ruined everything at the fireworks show, and somebody had to pay for this weather disaster. The ticket holder demanded a full refund because the city failed to control natural weather patterns. They should have predicted these storms weeks in advance and planned accordingly. Indoor fireworks seemed like an obvious solution that nobody considered. How hard could it be to move explosives inside a building? The event line backed up for 30 minutes while she argued with staff about weather responsibility. Other spectators waited patiently as she explained the city's obligation to guarantee perfect outdoor conditions for all scheduled events. 15. The hotel pool looked perfect in the brochure. Crystal clear water, inviting lounge chairs, tropical vibes everywhere. But when Margaret arrived at her resort, she encountered what she called the ultimate betrayal. The pool was wet, actually wet. She marched straight to the front desk, demanding answers. "Nobody told me I'd get soaked," she insisted, waving her hands dramatically. The staff tried explaining that pools contain water by design. 16. Dave's lawn looked pristine after the landscaping crew finished. Every blade cut to perfection, edges trimmed like a golf course. But the next morning brought pure rage. He gathered every single grass clipping into garbage bags, drove to the company office, and slammed them on the counter. "Look what you did to my ecosystem!" he shouted. The receptionist stared at the bags of perfectly normal grass clippings while Dave demanded immediate cash compensation. 17. The diner's breakfast rush was in full swing when Karen spotted something horrifying. Her toast had dark edges, burnt corners that clearly crossed the line from golden to criminal. She snapped 17 photos from different angles, documenting what she called breakfast terrorism. The waitress offered fresh toast within seconds, but Karen was already composing her refund demand. "This is criminal negligence," she announced, storming toward the exit while other customers watched in bewilderment. 18. The soda can looked innocent enough, sitting on the counter, but when Jerry opened it, disaster struck. Bubbles, lots of them, fizzing like some kind of carbonated explosion that attacked his taste buds without warning. He marched back to the store, unopened backup can in hand, demanding to speak with someone in charge. "Where's your CEO's number?" he asked the teenage cashier. These bubbles are dangerous, and I have studies to prove it. 19. Brad booked his dream ski vacation 6 months in advance. Mountain lodge, snow-covered slopes, the whole winter wonderland experience. Except he scheduled it for July. When he arrived to find green hills and hiking trails instead of powder, his fury knew no bounds. Your brochure shows snow everywhere, he told the bewildered staff, waving winter photos as evidence. He set up his phone in the parking lot, recording a 10-minute rant about false advertising. 20. The Magic Pen looked amazing in the store display. Invisible ink written right on the package, promising spy-level excitement for any teenager. But when Tommy got home and tested it, nothing appeared on paper. He returned the next day, convinced he'd bought a broken product. The teacher laughed at me, he complained to the cashier. Despite repeated explanations about UV light requirements, Tommy insisted on a full refund plus a visible guarantee sticker. 21. The restaurant's soup arrived steaming hot, exactly as soup should be. But within seconds of the first spoonful attempt, disaster struck. The customer's tongue made contact with molten liquid, and suddenly, this became everyone else's problem. You didn't warn me about the temperature, he declared, demanding not just a refund, but a complete menu overhaul. He wanted special, cooled versions of every hot dish, plus a written apology letter acknowledging their dangerous oversight. 22. The customer swore the shipping box was completely empty. Called customer service 3 times. Demanded an immediate refund for the missing product. But here's the thing. They never actually opened it. The item was buried under layers of protective foam padding. Dense stuff that made the box feel hollow when shaken. Only after filing the complaint did they bother to look inside and find their purchase sitting there perfectly fine. 23. This gambler walked into a casino expecting guarantees, lost $50 on slot machines and marched straight to the manager. Demanded every penny back because the machines were obviously rigged against regular customers. Wanted a written promise that future visits would include money-back guarantees for losses. Security got involved when they refused to leave. Posted a scathing review calling the entire casino industry a government-approved rip-off scheme. 24. The burger arrived with a thick artisan bun. Customer took one bite and lost it. Couldn't taste the meat through all that bread, they claimed. Sent the whole thing back to the kitchen and asked for just the patty on a plate. This is not what I paid $12 for, they argued loudly. Demanded the restaurant compensate them for their completely ruined lunch break and threatened to call the local newspaper. 25. Here's someone who bought hair dye for their bald head. Applied it carefully to the few remaining patches of scalp. Shocked when there was no visible color change after the treatment. Marched back to the store demanding a different shade that would work better on skin. Wrote a 3-page handwritten complaint letter detailing their disappointment. Insisted on cash refund only. Absolutely refused store credit of any kind. 26. The delivery truck pulled up and their dog started barking. Normal dog behavior, right? Not according to this customer. They claimed the sudden arrival completely ruined the surprise they had planned. Demanded a partial refund because their pet was now stressed and anxious. Actually asked the online store to write a formal apology letter addressed directly to their dog. Left a detailed 2-star review warning other pet owners about potential animal distress. 27. Someone bought a decorative snow globe thinking it was a weather prediction device. Shook it up and watched the fake snow swirl around inside. When real snow didn't fall outside their window, they called customer service 4 times demanding explanations. Wanted their money back because no actual snow came out in the real world. Asked the store to put warning labels on all future snow globes so other buyers wouldn't make the same scientific mistake. 28. They bought a tiny seedling in a small pot from the garden center, brought it home, watered it once, and waited exactly 24 hours. When the plant looked exactly the same the next morning, they lost their minds. Stormed back to the shop demanding a full refund because absolutely nothing happened overnight. Accused the staff of false advertising and insisted on an instant results guarantee for all future plant sales. Left an angry voicemail about broken promises. 29. A customer actually returned a pair of jeans because they weren't waterproof. They marched into the store with soaking wet denim, demanding a full refund plus compensation for their traumatic experience. The manager stared in disbelief as they showed off their soggy pants. They threatened to organize an anti-wet protest on social media and rejected every explanation the store offered. 30. Someone bought sunglasses expecting them to make the sun come out on a cloudy day. When the weather stayed gloomy, they stormed back demanding compensation for missing their summer vibes. They genuinely believed the sunglasses would control the weather. The frustrated customer left the sunglasses in the store parking lot while ranting about how weather should be more predictable. 31. A movie renter returned a DVD because it made them cry too much. They demanded money back for emotional damage and refused to accept that the genre was clearly labeled as drama. The customer insisted all future rentals should come with a joy guarantee. They left a 1-star review online warning others about the film's dangerous ability to trigger tears. 32. A car buyer tried using the self-parking feature in a no-parking zone and got a ticket. They blamed the dealer when the car wouldn't park illegally and demanded a refund for both the ticket and related fees. The confused customer insisted the dealership should provide a software update that could somehow read and ignore parking signs for their convenience. 33. A hotel guest took a 6-hour shower and complained when the soap bar completely dissolved. They wanted a refund plus extra bars as compensation for the not durable product. The guest demanded industrial-strength soap like they'd seen in movies. Their complaint was so elaborate they actually posted a musical version of it on YouTube for maximum dramatic effect. 34. Someone bought a magic kit and couldn't replicate the tricks at home. They demanded a refund for the useless toy and complained that the store had trained a magician specifically to fool them. The frustrated customer called the Better Business Bureau and threatened to expose what they believed was an elaborate fraud scheme targeting amateur magicians everywhere. 35. A person fast-forwarded through an audiobook, then complained about missing content. They demanded money back for missing chapters and blamed the company for not providing a catch-up feature. The confused customer insisted on receiving a paper book as replacement instead. They left a bewildered review online calling the entire audiobook concept fundamentally flawed and confusing. 36. Janet couldn't believe what happened during her spa weekend. She'd splurged on the extra bubbly bath soap, expecting a relaxing soak. Instead, her bathroom turned into a foam disaster. Bubbles climbed past the tub rim across the floor and nearly reached the window. She documented everything with her phone. The next morning, she marched back to the store demanding a full refund plus cleaning fees for her bubble catastrophe. 37. Mike's fitness journey lasted exactly 1 week. He'd bought an expensive treadmill after seeing those transformation ads everywhere. 7 days later, he was wheeling it back to the store, furious that he hadn't lost 30 pounds yet. The salesperson tried explaining that fitness takes time, but Mike wasn't hearing it. He wanted his money back immediately, claiming the manufacturer had made broken promises about instant results and demanding they provide a shortcut solution. 38. The laptop crash heard around the electronics store happened on a Tuesday. Sarah had dropped her new computer down a flight of stairs, then stormed in demanding a replacement. She argued that nowhere in the advertising did it mention gravity would be a problem. The manager tried explaining basic physics, but Sarah threatened a lawsuit over false durability claims. To prove her point, she actually smashed the broken laptop on the return counter. 39. Purple should smell like purple, according to Linda's complaint letter. She'd bought a lavender candle expecting the scent to match the color on the package. When it just smelled like regular lavender instead of purple, she wrote an entire poem describing her disappointment. The half-melted candle came back to the store along with her angry verses. She even started an online petition demanding candle label honesty from manufacturers everywhere. 40. Brand new hiking boots aren't supposed to get dirty, at least that's what Tom believed. After one trail walk left his pristine footwear covered in mud, he returned them demanding a refund. He'd brought before and after photos as evidence, arguing the company should have made them mud-proof. His solution? The store should only recommend clean country trails to customers. The staff tried not to laugh while processing his bizarre return. 41. The name wetsuit really confused Steve during his diving trip. He'd rented the gear expecting to stay completely dry underwater. When ocean water seeped inside, he felt totally scammed. Back at the dive shop, he demanded his money back and insisted they only rent dry suits from now on. The staff explained that wetsuits are supposed to get wet, but Steve warned all his friends about this rental scam. 42. Lottery tickets should guarantee winnings, right? That's what Margaret thought when she returned her losing scratch-off to the convenience store. She'd sent multiple angry letters to the lottery office, claiming their advertising promised she'd win. Her ticket stub became legal proof in her mind. She threatened to sue for wasted money, genuinely believing the lottery had broken some kind of contract with her by not making her rich. 43. A tourist visited a famous haunted house attraction expecting to take home an actual ghost. When the guided tour ended without any supernatural souvenirs, they marched to the ticket booth demanding a full refund. "Where's my poltergeist?" they asked seriously. The guide, thinking quickly, handed them a white bedsheet. "Here's your ghost," he said with a straight face. The complaint cooled instantly, though they later posted a skeptical online review questioning the attraction's supernatural value. 44. Someone bought an expensive drone with nature mode, expecting it to automatically chase and follow real birds in their backyard. When the birds completely ignored the buzzing machine, they became furious. They filmed the birds flying away as proof the product was defective. The customer refused to read the user manual and demanded an immediate refund. They tried returning the now dirty drone, claiming the misleading advertising had ruined their birdwatching hobby. 45. A family bought a live Christmas tree in December, then called the seller in March, complaining it had outgrown their living room. They were genuinely surprised that a living tree would continue growing after the holidays. The angry customer demanded a refund plus tree removal fees from their ceiling. They tried to donate the massive tree back to the original store. The seller patiently explained how nature works, but they still promised to warn the local papers. 46. At a sushi restaurant, a customer took one bite and immediately complained the fish was too fishy. They were shocked by the strong seafood smell and taste, comparing it to eating a swimming pool. The customer demanded a full refund for the overly fishy sushi platter. They posted online warnings about the dangers of fresh fish. The chef offered to make something else, but they demanded both an apology and free chocolate for their traumatic dining experience. 47. A parent bought a paper kite for a family outing, but when the wind carried it away, they blamed the store. They returned demanding a refund because the wind had stolen their purchased item. The customer suggested the store should offer wind tether insurance with every kite purchase. Even after the store gave them a replacement kite for free, they still filed a formal complaint. The manager wondered if they expected windproof flying toys. 48. After a road trip went wrong due to unexpected construction, a traveler returned their paper map demanding a refund. They claimed the map was inaccurate because it didn't show temporary roadwork that wasn't there when printed. The customer wanted a free GPS upgrade as compensation. They sent the map back covered in angry handwritten notes about their lost vacation day. The map company received a stern letter blaming them for all road construction everywhere. 49. A furniture customer returned an expensive recliner because it was too comfortable. They complained to the manager that the chair had trapped them all weekend, making it impossible to be productive. The customer demanded a refund for lost time and asked if they sold a moderate comfort version instead. They claimed the chair was addictive and dangerous to their work schedule. The store manager, trying not to laugh, offered them free coffee and suggested maybe a wooden stool next time. 50. Vacationers stood on the beach, staring at the ocean with genuine shock. The water was salty. They marched straight to the resort manager, demanding a full refund for false advertising. Why hadn't anyone warned them that seawater tastes like salt? They insisted the resort should have marked specific freshwater sections in the ocean for normal people to swim in. 51. The customer approached the soda machine with high expectations. After selecting Diet Cola, they returned 5 minutes later, absolutely furious. The machine had given them exactly what they ordered, but it didn't match their mood. They wanted something cheerful, not caffeinated sadness. The smart technology should have read their emotions and dispensed happiness instead. A refund was demanded immediately. 52. Mom bought the gaming console, promising her 8-year-old it would boost his grades. 3 months later, his test scores dropped from B's to C's. She stormed back to the electronics store with report cards as evidence. The advertising clearly showed kids becoming geniuses through gaming. Where were the promised brain gains? She demanded a full refund plus compensation for academic damages. 53. The laundry detergent commercial showed a woman dancing with joy after washing clothes. This customer tried the same brand, expecting life transformation. When her divorce papers still arrived and her boss remained awful, she returned the half-empty bottle. Clean shirts hadn't fixed her broken marriage or toxic workplace. The advertising was emotionally misleading, and she wanted her money back immediately. 54. The season ticket holder watched his team lose 28-14 in overtime. He immediately called the stadium box office demanding a refund. His ticket clearly stated he was paying to watch his team play, not lose embarrassingly. The whole point of buying tickets was witnessing victory, not disappointment. Professional sports should guarantee wins. Otherwise, it's just expensive sadness with overpriced nachos. 55. When the power went out during a thunderstorm, everything in the refrigerator spoiled. The customer loaded the broken appliance into his truck and returned it to the store. Modern technology should work without electricity, he argued. The salesman tried explaining how refrigerators function, but logic wasn't welcome. He wanted compensation for the fridge, spoiled groceries, and emotional trauma from warm milk. 56. She bought the best-selling self-help book promising life transformation in 30 days. After reading every page twice, she felt exactly the same. Her motivation hadn't increased, her confidence remained low, and Monday mornings still sucked. The author had clearly lied about guaranteed results. She returned the book, demanding a full refund plus compensation for wasted time and false hope. 57. A customer stormed into a grocery store holding a container of whipped cream. Their complaint? The cream wasn't whipped hard enough. They wanted a full refund and demanded staff demonstrate proper whipping technique. I needed to build a cream mountain for my dessert, they explained seriously. Photo evidence was posted online, complete with measurements. The complaint letter arrived the next day, written entirely in rhyme. 58. Picture buying a backyard fire pit for cozy evenings, only to return it because the smoke smelled like smoke. That's exactly what happened when one homeowner demanded their money back, insisting they wanted pine-fresh scented smoke instead. They suggested the manufacturer create scented smoke add-ons. The complaint listed multiple allergies to natural smoke smell. They actually showed up at the store with the entire fire pit in tow. 59. An electric bike customer felt completely betrayed when their battery died halfway up a steep hill. They claimed the advertisement promised limitless range and demanded compensation for their exhausted ride home. The complaint argued the company should pay for road work that made hills steeper. They left a stranger's review on social media, somehow mixing up usernames. The bike shop owner just shook his head and processed the return. 60. Someone bought an expensive massage chair believing it would cure their chronic insomnia. When they still couldn't sleep after 1 week, they demanded a full refund. I'm still awake, they complained, as if the chair had personally failed them. They requested a replacement with a guaranteed to work label. The complaint included a detailed sleep log as scientific proof. A certified sleep expert's letter was demanded for validation. 61. A customer returned an entire bundle of socks after washing them in hot water, shocked they had shrunk. They claimed the advertising never mentioned dryer shrinkage as a possibility. The complaint threatened to contact a sock advocacy group for justice. They wanted larger replacement socks at no charge. The entire complaint was written in angry capital letters, making it look like they were shouting about socks through the mail. 62. A pet owner demanded a refund because their cat completely ignored an expensive interactive toy. They insisted the company should test products with pickier cats before selling them. Video proof was posted on multiple pet forums showing their unimpressed feline. They demanded a personal apology for their cat's disappointment. When offered a store voucher, they refused and insisted on cash only, claiming their cat deserved better treatment than credit. 63. A teenager bought a trendy t-shirt expecting it to make him instantly popular at school. When his social status remained unchanged, he demanded a confidence refund from the clothing store. He sent before and after photos as evidence the shirt failed. His complaint requested the company retract their advertising, stating it wasn't actually magic. The store employee kindly recommended local friendship clubs instead of processing any refund for social disappointment. 64. The bike basket looked perfect in the store. Strong mesh, sturdy frame, clearly designed for carrying things. But when this customer got home and tried loading their Great Dane into it, reality hit hard. The dog didn't fit. Not even close. So naturally, they marched back demanding a full refund plus gift card for their trauma. The staff spent 20 minutes explaining pet-size basics, while the customer insisted all dogs should magically shrink for bicycles. 65. Everything's bigger in Texas, including drink sizes. This customer grabbed a 64-ounce soda and headed to their car, only to discover it wouldn't fit in the cup holder. Instead of accepting physics, they drove straight back to the car dealer. They wanted a custom cup holder installed immediately. The salesperson tried explaining standard measurements, but the customer kept shouting about real American-sized portions. Eventually, they grudgingly accepted a smaller travel mug, muttering about portion discrimination. 66. The hotel advertised historic charm and haunted atmosphere, perfect for a thrill-seeking tourist who booked specifically hoping for ghostly encounters. But after 3 nights of zero paranormal activity, they felt cheated. No floating objects, no mysterious sounds, not even a cold spot. They demanded their money back, insisting the hotel should provide guaranteed ghost sightings or clearly label rooms as spirit-free zones. Management offered free parking instead of supernatural entertainment. 67. Restaurant salads are supposed to be fresh and crispy. That's the whole point. But this diner found the crunch absolutely unbearable. Every bite of lettuce created what they called aggressive noise pollution. They sent the salad back, demanding something silent. The confused chef offered to wilt the lettuce, but the customer wanted a completely different appetizer instead. They left a 3-star review specifically warning other diners about the excessive crunch factor ruining their peaceful dining experience. 68. The toothpaste commercial showed brilliant white teeth after just one use. This customer took it literally. After brushing once, they checked the mirror expecting Hollywood-level results. When their teeth looked exactly the same, they felt betrayed. They marched to the store with before and after photos as evidence, demanding an immediate refund for false advertising. The cashier handed them a coupon book, but they wanted cash compensation for their wasted time and unrealistic expectations. 69. Summer heat called for relief, so they bought an electric fan. But after running it all day, they still felt hot and sweaty. This clearly meant the fan was broken, right? They lugged it back to the store, insisting the blades weren't working properly and demanding an air conditioner as replacement. When staff tried explaining how fans actually work versus air conditioning, the customer refused to listen. They later wrote a blog post about modern gadgets failing basic cooling promises. 70. The bagel looked wrong from the moment they unwrapped it. There was a giant hole right in the middle where perfectly good bread should be. This customer felt completely ripped off, convinced the bakery was cheating people out of food. They demanded a refund for the missing center portion and asked if they sold complete bagels without holes. The baker tried explaining traditional bagel design, but the customer remained convinced this was some kind of elaborate bread scam targeting innocent buyers. 71. Karen stared at her lottery ticket with disgust. She'd bought these lucky socks specifically for gambling success. The fluorescent green fabric promised good fortune right on the package. When her numbers didn't hit, she marched back to the novelty store, demanding both her sock money and lottery ticket refund. "This is superstition fraud," she declared, waving the losing ticket. The manager offered a polite smile and absolutely nothing else. 72. The paper grocery bag split on her walk home, sending eggs crashing to the sidewalk. She stormed back inside, clutching the torn remnants and demanding ironclad bags plus full refund for her ruined groceries. The evidence was overwhelming. Broken shells, spilled milk, bruised apples scattered across the pavement photos. Management apologized profusely and handed her reinforced double-bagged replacements. She left satisfied, but not before delivering a stern lecture about bag durability to the entire checkout staff. 73. The train's quiet car wasn't living up to its promise, according to one particularly observant passenger. She documented every whisper, cough, and page turn in her notebook, then demanded a ticket refund for false advertising. "This is never silent," she complained, requesting transfer to a soundproof compartment that didn't exist. When staff explained reasonable noise expectations, She composed a dramatic poem about her never-silent journey and recited it loudly in the supposedly quiet car. 74. Standing in the garden center, she pointed accusingly at her plastic bush purchase. "This thing never changed color or grew an inch," she declared, genuinely shocked by the artificial plant's static nature. The employee patiently explained that plastic vegetation isn't alive and doesn't experience seasonal growth. She demanded a refund for what she called a decor scam, comparing the experience to watching paint dry. The explanation about synthetic materials didn't convince her, and she left still muttering about false advertising. 75. Her non-spill mug had leaked coffee everywhere when accidentally turned upside down. She returned with photographic evidence demanding replacement for what she called dishonest design. The salesperson attempted explaining basic physics, that gravity affects all liquids regardless of mug technology. The tutorial on natural laws left her unsatisfied and insulted. She stormed off to rant extensively on kitchenware forums about misleading product names and the failure of modern engineering to overcome fundamental scientific principles. 76. Autumn had arrived with its annual leaf problem, and she wasn't having it. The city received her formal complaint about the leaf attack ruining her pristine lawn appearance. She demanded property tax refunds and insisted municipal authorities develop an industry solution for what she called nature's waste. Her threatening letters to city council included detailed yard photos as evidence of environmental negligence. They mailed her a free rate coupon, which somehow didn't resolve her fundamental issue with seasonal change. 77. The ceiling fan wasn't cooling her upstairs rooms effectively, which clearly meant the product was defective. She hauled it back to the store, demanding both refund and air conditioning unit as compensation. The clerk suggested turning on additional fans throughout the house for better circulation. This reasonable advice triggered a heated argument about fan limitations and proper cooling responsibilities. She stormed out after writing a scathing online review about incompetent staff and inadequate cooling solutions for multi-story homes. 78. Parents everywhere clutched their breakfast cereal boxes in horror. Little Timmy's prize wasn't the shiny robot from the commercial. Instead, he got a flimsy plastic ring that broke before lunch. Mom marched to the store, waving the cereal box like evidence in a court case. The manager listened patiently as she demanded an exact TV replica, complete with sound effects and laser beams that actually worked. 79. The movie theater became a battlefield over popcorn texture. Susan complained that her snack was excessively crunchy and hurt her delicate jaw muscles. She wanted softer kernels, maybe half popped for easier chewing. The teenage cashier stared blankly as Susan demonstrated proper popcorn consistency using hand gestures. Eventually, the manager offered free nachos, but Susan insisted on writing a strongly worded letter about aggressive snack foods instead. 80. Bob's backyard fence installation went sideways fast. He specifically bought invisible fencing, but could clearly see every wire in broad daylight. This wasn't magic, just misleading marketing. He loaded the entire system back into his truck and demanded a full refund from the hardware store. The clerk tried explaining that invisible meant hidden from pets, not humans, but Bob wasn't buying that excuse. 81. Technology failed Martha on her weekend road trip. Her GPS app suddenly rerouted her around construction, adding 30 minutes to her journey. She felt personally betrayed by the navigation system. How dare it not predict road work months in advance? Martha called customer service demanding compensation for her wasted time and emotional distress. She threatened to go back to paper maps and make the company regret their incomplete software. 82. Harold's kitchen clock was disappointingly normal. He wanted something special, maybe one that ran backwards for entertainment value. Instead, he got standard forward moving time like every other boring timepiece. The store clerk suggested he might enjoy a novelty clock with different sounds, but Harold shook his head vigorously. He wanted time manipulation, not cute animal noises. Eventually, he left empty-handed, muttering about missed opportunities and modern clockmaking. 83. The restaurant's breakfast special came with an unwelcome surprise. Janet bit down on a tiny piece of eggshell in her scrambled eggs. She immediately called the manager over, demanding a full refund and medical examination for potential injuries. The chef apologized profusely and offered a complimentary dessert, but Janet was already composing her scathing online review. She photographed the evidence, then surprisingly ate the free dessert anyway. 84. The shipping department's bubble wrap created an unexpected controversy. Mrs. Henderson complained that the protective packaging was far too noisy when stepped on accidentally. Her poor dog jumped 3 feet in the air from the popping sounds. She demanded quieter packaging materials and threatened to report the company for noise pollution. The mailroom workers couldn't stop laughing, but she remained deadly serious about implementing a company-wide silent bubble policy. 85. Standing in the shoe store, this customer held up running sneakers like evidence in a court case. The problem? They didn't magically add 3 inches to his height. He'd somehow convinced himself that athletic performance shoes meant instant growth spurts. The salesperson watched in amazement as he demanded a full refund for false advertising about elevation enhancement. 86. Movie theaters have seen plenty of confused customers, but this one took the cake. He bought a ticket for a regular film, then marched back to demand 3D glasses anyway. When staff explained the movie wasn't in 3D format, he insisted all films should pop out of the screen. His solution? Every movie should automatically be 3-dimensional or offer refunds. 87. Coffee shops deal with temperature complaints daily, but rarely like this. One customer burned his tongue on fresh coffee and immediately blamed the barista for serving it too hot. He waved around a TV commercial as proof that coffee should be ready to sip immediately. The staff watched helplessly as he demanded both a refund and a medical examination for his tongue. 88. Alarm clocks are supposed to wake you up, right? Well, this customer had different ideas. After sleeping through his silent alarm and missing an important meeting, he stormed back to the store demanding a refund. His brilliant solution? He wanted an alarm clock that could wake him up without making any sound whatsoever. The manager suggested telepathy wasn't included in the warranty. 89. Kitchen gadgets can be tricky, but salad spinners seem pretty straightforward. Not for this customer, though. She returned hers, claiming it spun way too fast and completely ruined her lettuce leaves. The spinning mechanism was apparently too aggressive for her delicate greens. She demanded both a refund and a redesigned version that would spin at a more lettuce-friendly speed for future purchases. 90. Seasonal shopping takes on new meaning when customers return winter items in July. This particular shopper brought back a space heater he'd purchased 6 months earlier, claiming it was now completely useless. His reasoning? Summer weather made the heater unnecessary, so stores should offer seasonal refund policies. The clerk accepted the bizarre return, knowing winter would eventually come around again. 91. Light bulbs seem simple enough, but this customer found fault with basic physics. He'd bought blue-tinted bulbs expecting them to cast bright blue light throughout his room. When the glow appeared more white than blue, he demanded a refund and threatened to write the company. His complaint letter was 3 pages long, detailing his disappointment with modern lighting technology and color accuracy. 92. This vegan burger complaint takes food realism to absurd heights. A customer ordered a plant-based patty at a trendy restaurant expecting something obviously fake. Instead, they got a perfectly crafted burger that looked and tasted remarkably like real meat. The texture was so convincing that they panicked, convinced the kitchen had switched their order. They demanded an immediate refund, claiming the realistic experience was emotionally traumatic for their vegan lifestyle. 93. Battery life expectations can reach ridiculous proportions when customers misunderstand basic physics. One shopper bought standard AA batteries for a remote control, then returned weeks later demanding a full refund. Their complaint? The batteries had died after several months of daily use. They insisted the packaging should have included a lifetime guarantee and threatened to report the store for selling defective power sources that didn't last forever like they'd somehow expected. 94. Weather doesn't follow ticket sales, but some baseball fans haven't gotten that memo yet. A devoted supporter bought premium seats for the big game, only to watch storm clouds roll in during the 3rd inning. When officials called the rain delay, he marched straight to customer service, demanding cash back instead of the standard rain check. His argument was simple. The team had ruined baseball tradition by not controlling Mother Nature's timing. 95. The wellness industry spawned some truly bizarre products, including emotional support rocks that promise inner peace. One customer bought a smooth stone marketed for stress relief, then returned it after a week claiming their anxiety levels remained unchanged. They provided before and after stress selfies as evidence and demanded a full refund for what they called a geological scam. The store kept the rock as an expensive doorstop. 96. Cultural events can clash with unrealistic noise expectations, especially during traditional celebrations. A parade attendee complained loudly about the bagpipe band, shocked that the historic instruments produced such powerful volume. They approached the event organizer demanding earplugs and a refund, insisting future parades should include volume caps for live music. The organizer handed them a free drink coupon and watched them march in next year's parade holding a protest sign. 97. Sometimes the smallest products generate the biggest complaints, like a customer who blamed a broken toothpick for their dental woes. They claimed the wooden pick had cut their gums and demanded not just a refund, but payment for a dentist visit. They sent photos of their allegedly injured mouth and threatened legal action over what amounted to a few cents worth of wood. The store reluctantly replaced the entire pack just to end the drama. 98. Coffee shop disasters can escalate quickly when lids don't cooperate with morning routines. A customer's takeaway cup lid popped off in their car, spilling hot coffee all over their business shirt. They stormed back inside, demanding a refund plus dry cleaning money, waving their stained clothing as evidence of the shop's defective lid policy. The apologetic staff gave them fresh coffee and listened to their announcement about banning all loose lids everywhere. 99. This customer downloaded a music streaming app expecting it to literally change their emotional state. After listening for an hour and still feeling the same, they demanded a full refund. Their complaint argued the advertisement promised happiness, which never arrived. They even wrote a short story describing their disappointment with modern technology. The company responded by suggesting a custom playlist designed for mood enhancement instead. 100. Sometimes people want refunds for the strangest reasons. This customer walked into a store, bought something, then immediately returned asking for their money back. When asked why, they simply said, "Just not for me today." No defect, no problem, no explanation beyond pure whim. The clerk offered store credit as a compromise. The customer argued loudly, demanding immediate cash, then stormed out in frustration without any resolution. 101. A parent bought their child a novelty clock shaped like a time machine, thinking it was actual time travel technology. When the kid remained stuck in the present year, they marched back to the store furious. They demanded a scientific apology for false advertising and asked to trade it for real-time travel equipment. The store manager firmly declined the exchange request, officially closing this bizarre complaint case.